I need my fellow moms out there to tell me if I am being an a-hole or not. So I took my daughter to the library today. Only been there with her a couple of times. And of course, today when we went in there, it was homeschool day. So there was a ton of kids in there. Normally it's super empty, like nobody's there. And it's a tiny library. It is very, very small. There was only one child in there that was around my daughter's age, and it was a mom there with her, and then she also had a baby as well, and they were playing in like the little kids area. My daughter wanted to go play with them. They were playing with blocks, but I told her no, we weren't going to disturb them. She was by herself with her two kids. I didn't want to interrupt. So my daughter and I continued on and just went and read some books and all that kind of stuff. We ended up running into one of the ladies who works at the library, and she started talking to my daughter, and she's like, oh, let me introduce you to some other kids. And so she brought us over to the woman who had her two kids on the floor playing with the blocks. And of course my daughter wanted to play, so I was like, okay, I will let this happen. I could see the kids looked like they maybe had some sickness or were getting over a sickness. I try very hard not to be judgmental because I know how difficult it is to be a parent and have multiple kids, but these children had like boogers and stuff crusted all over their faces. Anyways, I was gonna let my daughter play regardless, even though I'm slightly a germaphobe. Inside I was screaming, but anyways, I sat on the floor with them. I said hi to the mom. The librarian introduced us, told us everybody's name. She was friends with the mom that was on the floor. So anyways, the kids are playing. I end up finding out that the little girl that's around my daughter's age, she was 3.5, so a full year older than my daughter. And then the baby was 10 months old. So the whole time that we're sitting there, they're playing with these little wooden and plastic blocks and just shapes and things. I'm trying not to be judgmental while I'm sitting there. I know how difficult it is, especially when you have a little baby. The baby is obviously putting everything in her mouth. She's got all the blocks, she's shoving them in, and the mom is not stopping her from doing that. At one point, the baby had the teeniest little tiny wooden block in her mouth, and I was like, she has this in her mouth, like, okay. And that was okay. Like, I understand the baby doesn't know any better, right? My baby at 10 months old was putting everything in her mouth as well. Like, I totally get it. However, her 3.5-year-old was also putting all of the pieces in her mouth, and the mom kept telling her, like, don't put it, it's just pretend, don't actually put it in your mouth. Daughter's not listening. She's putting stuff in her mouth. She's making fake food, trying to give it to me, trying to give it to my daughter. And I'm just like cringing so hard on the inside because I just don't want my daughter to be touching this child's saliva when I can clearly see that she looks like she's getting over a sickness and stuff. And I'm just like, I am not good at confrontation or with any sort of situation like that. Like, I would rather eat my own foot than have to say anything to somebody and cause any sort of issue. So like, that is not me at all. My daughter's not putting anything in her mouth. She knows better. She knows she's not supposed to do that. She's pretending to eat the food, whatever she's playing, she's having a good time. What really finally made me get my daughter and leave was the fact that this little 3.5-year-old shoves her finger in her nose, pulls out a giant, and I mean giant booger, and is laughing and trying to put it in my face. And I'm like, oh, ha, like that, funny, funny. And the mom's like, oh, don't do that, don't do that. And then the child proceeds to wipe the booger, string it across the rug right in front of us where we're sitting and where we have all of our toys when we're playing. And the mom's like, oh my gosh, did she really just do that? And I'm like, yeah, yes, she did. She did that. She just wiped a giant booger on the floor where all these toys are, where we're playing and touching and sitting. And so she tells her daughter to go to the bathroom and wash her hands. And that was it. And I was like, we're leaving. So I tell my daughter, baby, we gotta go. And she was upset because she didn't want to leave. We put our blocks back in the box. We promptly went to the front door. I loaded her up with hand sanitizer. Luckily in my car I had some disinfectant wipes, so I wiped off her clothes and everything before I got her in her car seat, and we took off. I am very introverted. I do not go out a lot. I don't take my daughter to like activities and things like that since she's so little. Like there's not really anything around me to do anyways. So I don't frequent being around other toddlers and parents and kids and stuff for like her age. So I just need to know, is this a normal thing and like I'm just totally overreacting and that's just like normal 3.5-year-old behavior, or is that like a little bit much? Because my daughter would never do that. I would never allow her to do that. As soon as I saw she had her finger in her nose, I would be finding a tissue, whatever, to clean it. I would take her to the bathroom immediately. I wouldn't even give her the opportunity to wipe it anywhere. And I certainly would never let my child put blocks and things in their mouths that other kids have been touching and playing with and all of that kind of stuff. I wouldn't ever want to make anybody feel bad or anything like that. I verbally out loud said to my daughter that we needed to go home because we needed to start making lunch. I didn't want her to think I was leaving because of her kids, but I was absolutely leaving because of her kids. So I just need to know, like, is that so just absolutely insane of me to feel that way? Or am I somewhat validated in the fact that I just didn't want my daughter to get sick and be touching all those icky germs and saliva and boogers and things from another child? Obviously, I know that she's going to come into contact with germs. It's inevitable. I mean, anywhere we go, there's germs everywhere. So I totally understand that. That situation really threw me off, and I just haven't had a lot of that type of experience yet. So I wasn't sure if just me being a first-time mom, I am totally just overreacting to the situation, or if I had some validity in how I felt. So if you think that I'm the a-hole, please don't hesitate. Let me know. I would love to work on myself and who I am and how I am as a mom. Or if you have a different way that I could have handled the situation, maybe, then please let me know. I really just want to be the best parent that I can, and obviously I want to protect my daughter. I know that I can't protect her from all the germs in the world, but yeah, so I just really want to learn and grow and be able to be a better person. So if you have any opinions or thoughts, please feel free to leave them in the comments so we can discuss this more, so I can learn more and just know how to better handle situations like these if they arise again in the future.